everyone. So welcome back to another episode of the Hello Spring podcast. I hope you're all doing well because in today's episode, we're going to be having a very special guest that I know for a fact you're all going to love. We did not have an episode last week, so I thought why not do something extra special and make the episode a little bit longer for you all to listen to make up for lost times. So we are going to be having my good friend Starwinxie on the podcast. You may know her as Starlight Sims from YouTube back in the day, where she had a Sims 3 Generations and Seasons Let's Play called the Logan Family. And it was her iconic family that everyone loved and adored, and I still love them till this day, 100%. But she is now Starwinxie, and she is a variety Twitch streamer where she makes a variety of content around The Sims 2, The Sims 3, and other variety games such like Until Dawn, Little Hope, and so many other games that I know for a fact you're all going to love. And so if you all stick around in this episode, all of the links will be in the show notes below to our channels and all that you need to know about her. But anyway, let's go ahead and hop into today's episode. I wanted to start off the episode with saying thank you so much, Whitney. Whit, appreciate it so much for you being on my podcast. Like, I'm so excited because I consider you as like an OG Sims YouTuber, and like I feel like the people need to know your side of the story, like how you started, where you are at now, and all the above. Because personally, we love Sims, we love YouTube, we love everything. So thank you again for being on my podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for asking me and having me.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to ask you, how have you been doing today?
Pretty good. I've mostly just been preparing myself for this. Like, been a little anxious because that's just how we are. But I'm excited overall, like more than anything.
I'm so excited as well. So would you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, a little spiel?
Oh boy. Okay. So my name is, well, my username is Starwinxie. But I go by, my real name is Whitney. Pretty much everybody just calls me Wit because that's like my nickname, and that's just how I feel comfortable when people call me Wit, and it's like become like a close-knit thing with my community and everything. So feel free to call me Wit. And yeah, I started making Let's Plays like on YouTube 7 years ago, which is crazy. It's been that long, but yeah, January of 2014. So long time, but mainly been focused on Twitch in the last few years. And we play a lot of Sims 2, Sims 3, check out new stuff with The Sims 4 from time to time. Sometimes we play community games, we play Animal Crossing and Mario Kart and Jackbox, and sometimes we play a random horror game. So we like to spice it up, but definitely still Sims at my core. I probably always will be. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. I like how you said that you kind of dibble and dabble to pretty much anything and everything, like storytelling games. I know you have played Detroit Become Human and like Little Hope.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love those
Detroit Become Human is probably the most beautiful game I've ever played in my life, both in the story and the visuals. Like it's just stunning. And that game actually really made me have this newfound love of story games. Like now I want to broaden my horizons even more and play even more games because of the stories. And like that game just changed me a lot, honestly. It's seriously one of my favorite games of all time now.
When I tell you, I highly recommend playing The Walking Dead. I don't know if you're like interested in like zombies and stuff, but like The Walking Dead, it's such more than that. The Walking Dead franchise, like video game from Telltale Games, is hands down one of the best story-driven games I've ever played in my entire life. I've played through those games multiple times, at least 4 or 5 times, for like different endings and different choices I've made, and it made me feel more connected to the characters as if they were real. And I always cry because they feel like real people, even though they aren't. It just makes me excited and happy to know that they are moving on to a better life or trying out new things that they haven't done before after the whole world ending and everything. And then another game is Life is Strange.
Yes, I was just going to say that too.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually watched The Walking Dead show for like a very long time. I'm not really like into it anymore, but I was for a long time, and I haven't actually played the Walking Dead games myself, but I have seen, I think saw a streamer play it, like the first Walking Dead game.
Mm-hmm.
But I would still love to go through and play those myself. And I still have The Wolf Among Us on my computer, but never played
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Like, and I really want to play it because Life is Strange 3 is coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I never played 1 or 2. So I kind of want to do that as well. So maybe I'll be able to play all 3 eventually, hopefully, because that's definitely at the top of my list right now.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to story games.
Yeah, when I tell you those are some really good heavy hitter games for storytelling, especially with all the episodes and how much like connected each character is, and like the choices you make in one episode kind of affects the next episode, or after like you finish that season, it carries on to the next season and after, and so on and so forth. And it's so interesting on how these video games tie in so much realness into such little character, you know?
Yeah, like it's like coming back to Detroit Become Human, like that
Yeah.
game has I don't know, like 100 probably different endings. Like it's so like you can impact that game so much. There are so many different choices and ways that it could go.
Yeah.
And then it has like that, just the overall story of, and how you can compare the way that androids are being treated and discriminated
Mhm.
against like real life oh my gosh, I could go on. Like it's just beautiful. But yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes.
My favorite one was Kara, and I think Marcus, was that his name?
Yeah, Marcus, he was the one. He's Jesse Williams.
Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
one. He was like leading the resistance, basically. Like he was the
Yeah.
one leading them toward freedom. And then Kara, of course, she had like the motherly role, which I really bonded to and related to. And I became a felon for that little girl. I stole everything. I didn't care. I was like, as long as she's safe, that's what matters. Oh my gosh.
I think that's what I did too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Ralph,
I mean,
however,
you know, you got to do what you got to do.
right. Ralph kind of scared me. When he was talking in the third person, I got horror from like, Ralph feels not safe. Ralph feels scared.
Oh,
Ralph
yeah,
doesn't want to
yeah,
be
yeah.
in trouble. I'm like, no, get away from me. Get away from me with that creepy smile. Back
Yeah,
away, stranger
and the thing
danger.
is, like, I saw someone have him, but I don't think I even had him in my playthrough because I literally like robbed a store so I could stay at a hotel and
Oh,
I robbed the
yeah.
store and stole clothes. Like I became a full-on felon just so this girl would be safe. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. I lived in that weird abandoned house where that fence was. That's where I lived.
I was too scared. I
didn't understand. I was afraid of getting caught and getting arrested, and then Car gets disabled, and then the little girl just goes away. I'm like, well,
Right.
did you finish the game though?
I did finish it, yes.
Oh, I don't know how I need to go watch the VOD back, but like it was months ago, but the way it ended for me, I was beyond blown away that the little girl was an android the entire time.
Yes, like spoiler alert, but yes. I had a feeling because I had seen someone else play it, but I didn't remember much from it, honestly. So I came to there was this part fairly early on where, again, spoiler alert, where Kara and Alice are hiding in a house. I think her name was Rose's house.
Yeah.
And she was tucking Alice into bed. And Alice said something. What did she say? She said, "Why don't they like us?" to Kara.
Oh.
And that was kind of a ding, ding, ding moment for me. I was like, wait a minute. Wait, why is she wording it that way? And then there was another time where she was like, "I just want to be like other girls," which, of course, like coming from the perspective, like I was a little girl once and I felt those feelings. But I don't know. There was in a whole game about androids. I'm like, I wonder if she's an android. And so when that happened, I was like, oh my God, I was right.
Yeah. Because like I was like thinking like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense because the other android, the big strong one, I was like, he takes care of he takes care of him so well. Like it's his own because they are the same kind. And it's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, so good. So good.
Oh, man, I just love that game so much. I really love storytelling, and I know that you do too. And it's like when
Mm.
you play other story-driven games that are not The Sims, it just makes your love of storytelling grow even more.
Yeah, it really does. And like that's the game I recommend to everyone. Like all my friends who play The Sims, I'm like, okay, but you should play Detroit Become Human. Like I
Yeah,
promise if you love stories, like this game is
it's
the
for
game. Like
yes,
so good.
hands down. um,
Hmm.
so I asked all my guests this who appear on my podcast. What was your first impression of me?
I honestly don't know if I can remember because I've known you forever. Like
Right.
I'm pretty sure I've known you since like the beginning. Like
Oh
I
gosh.
swear. I'm just gonna interview you. How long have you been doing How long have you been doing YouTube? Because I feel like I've seriously known you since I started practically.
Well, I started doing YouTube like around 2011, but like I had like a separate YouTube
Before me. Oh
channel.
my goodness. Yes.
Yeah. I was making YouTube videos in high school. It was all about Sims though. I was making like Sims 2 machinima videos for like 4 years of high school. They made me so happy. However, in high school, I was completely depressed. So I made very sad
Mm,
type machinima videos and like meeps. I don't
yep.
know if do you know what meeps are?
I don't know.
Well, they're like
Not
where
entirely sure.
they're like music videos. They're called multi-editor projects where you have like these group of different Sims 2 directors make a short clip of a piece of a song, and then the host or whatever of the person who made the project puts all the clips together with the song
Uh,
that they had and with people to watch. I've made multiple of them. I even like what was crazy back then is that I think it was like 2013, 2014, like around that time when I was like actually ending that channel because I'm done because it was too much work. But I had this intention of like the start of every year, I would do like this 40-minute multi-editor project where I would have 40 individual people film like different clips of a piece of a song, and then I would put everything together and then upload to YouTube for people to watch. And it was a lot of work, but it was worth it.
yeah.
But the YouTube channel is still up there. It was called Saga World Productions.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, so I've been making videos for about a decade now, all about The
That's
Sims,
wild.
nothing
Wow. Yeah.
else.
That's
Um,
amazing.
but I didn't kind of like get into like gameplay and like using my voice because I never actually talked in any of my videos at all until like 2014 when The Sims 4 first came out. And I was like, I want to
Uh-huh.
get into Let's Plays and using my voice and showing my face and everything and do that. So I started a brand new channel called SpringSims, and here we are today, 7 years into the future and still going at it.
Yeah. Like I think my first impression was probably just like my impression of you now, which is just like how nice you are. Like you're a
Hmm.
very kind person and that just like I don't know, you radiate that energy and like you were always nice and I think you were always like commenting on people's videos about how good they like you were just very
Oh,
nice
yeah.
and like outgoing. At least it felt that way, like online and stuff. Like you felt so
Mhm.
outgoing and like yeah, you were just so sweet and like nice to me and stuff. And I
Oh,
don't know,
thank you.
I really liked you, and I still do. I still do.
Thank you. It's like the thing is, like, I do come across very nice and bubbly and happy, which I am in real life, but like, I'm an introvert person. Like, I don't really
I
go
feel
out a
that.
lot. Um,
I literally don't leave my house. You know,
I don't leave my
I
house
really.
at all.
Hmm.
But like, I do try to make sure that people feel like welcome and happy and excited because I don't know. I just like watching YouTube, and I've been doing YouTube for so long that I know what it's like, kind of that when you have like negative comments on your YouTube videos, it kind of brings you down a little bit. So I thought, why not sprinkle in some positivity in people's YouTube videos and tell them what I like about it? Like I would watch the entire video so I can kind of get
Right.
a full understanding. And I still do that to this day. I don't comment as much, but I just watch it
Yeah.
and like it. But it's
Yeah.
like positivity goes a long way, honestly.
It does, and like that's honestly, I don't want to say that's one of the biggest reasons I don't really do YouTube much anymore, but it's
Mhm.
probably like a contributing factor is because like for a while it was like all I got was hate comments. Like because it feels
Mm.
like the more growth you have, the more haters you have. Because like the
Yeah.
more people find you and then the more trolls find you. And then it becomes like I had to, at one point, I actually had the YouTube app on my phone and got notifications, like
Oh
had them
no.
turned on. Like, who was I? No, that was a bad idea. Don't do that.
No, 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 no.
So, no. So it really affected me mentally. And it got to a point where like, it almost felt like I was making videos that other people wanted more than what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just needs to be a healthy balance. But I read way too much into those negative comments. I'm the first one to admit it. Like,
Oh my.
I'll shrug it off in the moment, like, and I'll be like, oh, this doesn't bother me. Whatever. They're just a troll. But deep down, it really bothers me. It really bothered me. And, you know, like, we're all human. And I think there is such a disconnect with being online because, especially on YouTube, I really didn't show my face for a very long time. It was just my voice. So I think people kind of disconnect you from the video. Like they just see a video and so they comment and not realizing, like, they know you're behind the screen, but I don't know, it's just different. There's definitely a disconnect there where people don't really care as much. Like they wouldn't say this stuff to your face, but they'll definitely say it online.
Yeah.
So yeah, the positivity, like you talked about, it truly is life-changing. Like it makes all the difference. Like one nice comment can literally make my entire day.
Yeah.
And one bad one can ruin my day. So like your comments truly matter, like always.
Yeah, because like honestly, I don't think I've ever gotten hate comments. I don't think so. I don't know. Now that I think, I have no idea if I gotten hate comments. I probably have. Probably just delete them because I'm like, get out of my way. I'm not gonna let you ruin my day.
Delete them.
Goodbye.
I just delete them now. But
yeah,
at the time, I would actually try to like not argue with them back, but I would try to like, I don't know. I had this feeling like I had to like make people like me, and I've been working on that. But I really do. I want everyone to like me, and I want to be seen as like a good or likable person.
Yeah.
And so when someone doesn't like you and you're like, why? Why don't you like me? What can I change about myself to make you like me? And that was how I kind of was back then. And I mean, I've really been working on that. You know, it's been 7 years, so I've definitely changed. But that was really how I was. And I was ready to change my entire personality online just to like make people happy. Like, it's so crazy how much, how that stuff can affect you.
Yeah, definitely. Because I've been told I was a people pleaser, and I know I was back then. Now thinking about it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I got to change that mindset. Like, if people don't like me, I don't care. Goodbye.
Right.
I move on with my life.
Right.
But I think my first impression of you was, I think when I first found your channel was around like when I was watching The Sims 3 on YouTube. It was your Logan Family, and oh my gosh. I love Generations and Seasons. I will always forever love those 2 expansion packs. But I feel like with your YouTube channel, you made it more like personal and more like real, which made me kind of more connected to you as a creator, but also like as the family was growing, like I want them to be real so bad. But no, I think that was like my first impression of you.
Oh,
yeah.
it's so sweet.
Yeah. It's about to be the end of May, like next week or so. But we're 5 months in, and it's kind of crazy that we're thinking like 5 months in, almost 6 months in of the new year.
I know. It's really flown by. Like
it really has. Like I don't understand the sense of time or, weather anymore because it's just all over the place. Like it makes no sense. But I was going to say, where things are now, would you say that things have gotten better since the beginning of the year? Because the beginning of the year was like weird, new president and all. Yes, I don't know. It's been so long.
Yeah. I think definitely I do think that things are better generally now than they were like at the beginning of the year. Because I mean, for so many reasons, like back in January-ish, I think I was having a bout of like some depression or seasonal depression or something. I'm not entirely sure, but I was definitely just not myself. And I felt very down and I really wasn't streaming as much. And it was, I don't know. I honestly think that I live in a very cold weather state. And so when it's winter, it's just cloudy every day. And eventually
Oh,
your
yeah.
brain is just like cloudy too. And you're just like,
Mhm.
but then once spring came and the sunshine came, like I started feeling a lot better. And so in that way, I definitely am feeling better from earlier this year. And yeah, I've also had like other kind of, I guess, revelations since the beginning of the year. My health, for example, like I had all these symptoms and I was finally diagnosed with them fairly recently. Like I actually have a diagnosis now. And like I have,
Mhm.
so there are things that have definitely improved in that way. And then, like you said, like the president,
Yeah.
all that
I
kind of
c
stuff.
I couldn't remember anything after, like, what happened towards the like, end of December to, like,
Mhm.
January. I'm like, "What's going on?" And just went fast forward to May. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I know. It seriously feels like January or February was
It's just
a week ago. Like, it
yeah.
really does. Like time has flown, and it's probably because like we're also, we're all still kind of not going out as much, and
Yeah.
like it's
That's
just
true.
time has just flown by, and yeah, it's wild that it's already been like this year's already half over.
It's weird. Oh gosh.
I
I just
know.
turned 25. I'm like, I'm not ready to be 26 in like, I don't know, 8 months in time, so no.
I'm
I
gonna be 29. I'm gonna be 29 this summer. Like
oh my.
I'm not ready. My last year of my 20s. I'm not ready.
Go strong. You got this.
Oh my gosh.
I think like what kind of kept me going throughout this entire year, like the best thing I've been doing is just streaming and like
Yeah.
kind of getting my all my ducks in a row because I'm like this planner. I've always like this been this planner all my life where if I'm gonna do something in like 5 years time, I need to like have these set things in place or like do these certain things to get to where I need to be. So like now that I'm 25, and like around like January, February-ish before I turn 25, I was like, I want to have like my 5 year plan set in stone or like have my 5 year plan of what I want to do and before I'm 30. So I was like, I need to do all these things and plan ahead and stream and record these videos, do my podcast. Like that was like my main thing. Start the
Mhm.
podcast and then all things will be fine later on. And so far it has been, besides like the mental depression and anxiety and all, but
Right.
I think that streaming has helped so much. And I think you can agree as well, because
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's been like streaming has been such a big distraction for me, especially with the past year, like 2020 and now 2021. Like it's just been a
Yeah.
lot for everyone. And so I think that people have been such a good distraction. Like streaming and hanging out with my community has really been a lifesaver for me, like within the past couple years. And just such a good distraction. And like it's funny because I always go into content creation of any kind with this mindset of being a happy distraction for other
Mhm.
people. I really like that makes me feel very fulfilled inside to be a distraction for others if they have things going on in their lives. Like even distracting them for a few minutes of a day would be fine for me. Like as long as I make them smile or something, like that's what I want. And so it's kind of like the tables have turned and now my community is what's distracting me from things going on. So it's very much a two-way street and it's come full circle in that way, which is kind of neat. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely streaming has been a very big part of why I think I am also feeling better than I was in January because I wasn't streaming in January because I didn't
Mhm.
feel great mentally. So then I would cancel stream, but then I'd feel even worse for canceling stream. Like it's just an
Why?
endless cycle.
That's me. I
It
think it's
really is.
it's so weird because like when I think like around like 2013, 2012, it's like towards the end of 2012, I feel like. And like onward, I feel like that with people who do like YouTube and like Twitch, don't go into the minds of thinking, oh, it's gonna be like my quote unquote full time career and I'm gonna
Never.
do all these different things. Like, we're not gonna make all this
Mm-mm.
money. No, we just go into it as a hobby. But then, like, I think the more that we have done it for so long, we think a certain way. Like, we always have to be like on and recording
Mm.
and live streaming, have all like this bubbly personality or whatever our
Yep.
personality might be online, that if we take a day off or a week off or don't stream for as long as we usually do, we always feel so bad. And it's like, it's still like that sometimes, but I think 2020, I personally think, just looking at the internet and streams in general on YouTube, I think personally a lot of people have been more okay with the fact that it's okay to take a break. It's okay to like take your mind away from like social media and recording. Like we don't always have to be on, because if you're always on, it's like when are you gonna be off, you know?
Right. And so like when I started YouTube, I really truly, I actually what's funny is I almost didn't upload my first video. I almost
Gosh.
didn't. I was really bored one day. Okay. I was very lonely and I was like, you know what? I'm home by myself. I'm just gonna record myself playing a game because I saw other people doing it and it looked
Hmm.
fun. So I was just gonna do it for fun, like just for myself. I don't know. So that's what I did, but I recorded it as if it were a let's play just because that's what I saw on YouTube. So
Yeah.
I recorded this whole video and I really wasn't going to upload it, but then something at the very last minute, I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. So I uploaded it and the rest is history. But I definitely did not go into it with the mindset of this is going to be my career. And I didn't even know that you could make money through YouTube. Like
Yeah.
I knew I knew that really big YouTubers, like, you know, at the time, people like Bethany Moda or like big people back
Yeah.
then, but I figured it was like just sponsorships or
Hmm.
that they had a management team that paid them. I didn't know anything. So I had no idea that like I could make money through ad revenue or anything like that. So I think I got partnered on YouTube like a few months in because at the time partnerships were a lot different. Like I think I have
Yeah.
100 subs and got partnered. Things were so
Yeah.
different in 2014.
It really
Um,
was.
yeah. And so I got partnered because all of my friends were getting partnered. And I was like, well, if they're doing it, I might as well do it too. And like, I don't know. It just became like, I guess I'll do this. Why not make money from a hobby now? Right.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then after generations happened and things started kind of picking up faster and faster, I really did fall into that mindset of, oh my gosh, I need to record all the time. I need to be on all the time. I can't take a
Yeah.
break because now my family is actually depending on this income. And like, it added so much stress that I had never, ever gone into it thinking. Like, I really didn't go into it thinking about making money. And
Hmm.
pretty soon it actually honestly became all it, like not all it was, but a big part of it was, okay, but I need to make sure that I make enough money this month. So I need to upload this many times. And it got like, I got very obsessive over it. Like I
Hmm.
really, it became like an analytics game. Like
Oh
it
my gosh,
really,
yes.
and now of course you open YouTube now and the first thing it just like punches you in the face with your analytics and it's like,
Gosh.
whoa.
It's like
And
you're doing bad. No one's watching your
yeah,
videos. Like,
it's
what
like
do you
you
mean?
suck. You open YouTube and it's like you suck. It's like it's what it feels like when you, especially when you're in a bad mental place as it is. Like YouTube really just kind of fueled that for me. So that's why I took kind of a step back. But for a long time, that's how I felt. Like I couldn't take breaks and everything. And with Twitch, I do feel like it's somewhat the same. Like I don't like taking breaks, but not so much because of the money or anything, but it's
Hmm.
more of like I don't want to let people down because what if they had a really bad day? Like what if someone in my community had a bad day and
Yeah.
they're depending on, you know, they're looking forward to my stream to make them feel better. And that's
Hmm.
kind of the pressure I put on myself because my community is not like that at all. Like they're the
Oh
ones
yeah.
yelling at me to self-care. Like they yell at me to cancel stream. Like they
It's
like
like,
make me
stop. Don't
yeah.
stream. I don't want to
Yeah.
see it. Take a break.
Right, exactly. Seriously. And so they'll like yell at me to take breaks and which I'm so grateful for them. So I'm definitely in a place now where I honestly don't even really check my Twitch analytics and it's been a lot
Yeah.
better for me than YouTube because I feel like YouTube it's almost like unavoidable.
It really
Like
is.
you can't even open it, you know?
It's like if you want to upload a
Um
video, you're in the dashboard, you see everything.
yes, exactly. So it's like I don't want to upload.
Yeah.
You know, and like I don't know if that's kind of where I'm at now, and that's also another reason why I've just been focusing on Twitch because
Mhm.
YouTube is just it really became too much of a numbers game for me, and at that point, it was just not as fun for me anymore.
Hmm.
Whereas Twitch, it's like I get to hang out with people in real time, and it's just, I don't know, it's just such a different vibe than YouTube.
Oh, I understand what you mean because I was also feeling that way as well, where I miss kind of getting that real time, genuine like connection to people. Because with YouTube comments, it always felt like one sided, where you're not really kind of having that connection with someone, where they say, "Oh, I really love your videos," and what they think about the video, but then you comment
And
back
you
and it's
say
like,
thank you, and then the conversation
"Yeah."
ends.
Hmm.
And that's it. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. So it's like streaming is like what made it more fun for me to like continue to create content because of the interaction I was getting and like what they were liking, but also like what was I liking and how we all could collaborate together as a community.
Yeah. And like with YouTube comments, like you said, someone comments what they liked or didn't like about a video and you respond, and then that's kind of it, end of conversation. And
Yeah.
also with YouTube comments, it's usually just all about your content. That's really all the comments are, is like just talking about your content,
And
which
that's
makes
also
sense.
yeah.
But with Twitch, it's so much more in depth than just what you're playing or what you're doing. Like I feel like Twitch is the place to be, at least for me and my point of view. Like
Yeah.
it's not so much about the content, it's about the relationship with the streamer and the community. And like I know more about my community because of Twitch than I ever
Yes.
would have known on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because we talk
Yeah.
about our lives in real time on Twitch, and now I know so many things about them as well. Like more, like it's not just one sided. Like
Yeah.
they comment on what I'm doing or whatever, but I am able to ask them about their day, and we have a full on conversation. And now I know
Exactly.
where they like, like all these things about them now. And so that's why I just love Twitch so much.
I love Twitch so much because of that. Because I at first started streaming on like YouTube for like maybe one stream a month. I only did like two streams, granted. But then after I was like, I can't do it. Everyone's like, the weird part is that I didn't like the fact that people knew who I was when I was streaming. So I'm like, I don't want anyone to know me. So I moved over to Twitch to streaming. Granted, people knew who I was and I didn't care, but it was smaller. Whereas back then it was like
Yeah.
8,000 people knowing who I was. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't want that. No, no, no. So I'm just gonna.
I streamed once on YouTube. That was my very first stream I ever did, was YouTube.
Hmm.
And this was in like 2017-ish, probably.
Ah.
And it was the first stream I ever did. And it was the only stream I ever did on YouTube. And it was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And for my first stream, and it was just a lot. And I don't know. And there was also a lot of like, where's this Let's Play? Where's this video? And
Exactly.
whereas on Twitch, it's like, how was your day? How's your cat? Oh my God, show us your cat. Like
Yeah.
it's just more fun, spontaneous things than just where's the content, where's the content, where's the content. And also, like you said, it is a smaller Twitch in general. It's always like a smaller community than your YouTube community. Like that's just
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
how it kind of is. Discoverability or something, but it's just a smaller space. And so that really comforted me when I moved over to Twitch because it was smaller, but also most of the people talking weren't asking like, where's this, where's that? They just wanted to talk to me, and I just wanted to get to know them. And Twitch is just, it will always be my favorite platform. Like I really
Yeah.
think, at least right now, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I like how it's growing and changing. I see that they're also adding in the trans tag, which is so
Yeah, I think
cool.
they're adding like 150 tags or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's so
I mean,
wild.
Twitch, just like any platform, you have to hold them accountable and make
Yeah.
like just like any business or company, like you want to hold them accountable, and they definitely need work. Like they need to, put in more effort in certain areas, but when they finally do, you also want to applaud that, like,
Exactly.
okay, it shouldn't have taken you this long, but like, good job,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very, very exciting because diversity and being inclusive is probably the most important thing
Yeah.
on any platform,
Exactly. With The Sims, like The Sims 4 was
Yes.
like, we had basic skin tones that were a little bit ashy, not great. But then 7 years
Right.
later, we finally get it. So shouldn't take that long, but we finally got what we deserve and what we needed for so long for like true representation and everything.
Right. And like because like with The Sims 4 too, it's like it's definitely like I think out of all the Sims games, I think The Sims 4 is the best with diversity.
Oh
like,
yeah.
For sure. Like even in like the Sims 2, as much as like I love The Sims 2. You know.
Same.
I love Sims 2. She's my favorite. But 4 skin tones. Four skin tones.
Oh,
you know,
no.
and oh my God, don't even get me started on like the bigger body. It's like literally it just gives your Sims a bigger butt and that's it. Like it's not oh my gosh. And the Sims 3 got better with the body. The skin tones really definitely needed more in the hairs and stuff, definitely needed more. So Sims 4 is definitely the reigning king when it comes to diversity and like the different body types and like just everything that they're doing. So I'm definitely glad that they updated the skin tones and they're still working on their hairs and stuff. Like they're still trying to be better because the community is also holding them accountable and pushing for this stuff. And
because like back then, what we had back then in Sims, more specifically the Sims 2, I feel like 2004 to 2008-ish would not be acceptable in 2021 at all. With the, I guess, the fashion type, no. Turn on and turns off, no. Absolutely. Like the weird part, what kind of got me was like, why was a turn off fatness and like other stuff? Like I don't understand. I can understand stink. That's understandable because people who smell, it's like, take a shower, get away from me.
Right. That's my turn off. I was a Sim.
Every Sim I had was like, turn off, stink, everything else. Turn on, hardworking, great. But you smell, get away from me.
I really liked the turn-ons that were like traits, like if they were or skills, like if they were a good cook, like that made sense, like that, you know, if they had a good job, stuff like that, if they were logical and all those different things. But when it came to like the visuals, oh gosh. And like I remember I was playing, I can't remember who it was, but I was playing one Sim and they had 2 turn-ons and they were fitness and fatness. And I was like, how does that
Well.
I was like, I don't know. It was definitely a different time. And I would say probably a more shallow time. Back in like the early 2000s, for sure. Like it was just a very different time. And those things would not fly today. And like only having 4 skin tone options.
No.
No. It would not have gone.
I think I think my favorite, though, about The Sims 2, which I was going to do a segue of that anyway. I think the one thing I did like about The Sims 2 was that it was so diverse with the interactions and the autonomy of everything. It felt like real life. Whereas like with Sims 4, it kind of is like that, but not really. It's more like a sandboxy type of game where you can control literally anything and everything besides the pets. But it's like if you are a brand new player to the Sims franchise, or like you played Sims from like the beginning, but then like skipped 2 and 3 and just forgot about it, but you want to kind of get back into it, The Sims 4 is the definitely reigning king, as you said, to start with anything about the Sims. Like the OG Sims, like the Goth family, the Lotharios, Calientes, the land grabs, even though their storyline makes literally no sense. It's like where you should start and then kind of go back if you wanted to.
Yeah, I like if you're just now getting into The Sims, then, you know, Sims 4 might be a good way to start because I also feel like it's a lot simpler in certain ways. Like it's very broad in the important, diverse ways, but it's also very simple in its gameplay and the way that it's their needs. Like if you play The Sims 2, like your very first thing right now is like The Sims 2 and you hop into it, you're like, why are they dying so quickly? It's like their needs. But like it all comes with practice and like realizing there's aspiration benefits you can use to make their needs slower and like different tricks that you learn. I've been playing this game for 17 years. So obviously I know like a lot of things about it. I still don't know everything about it, but
same.
But it's definitely a learning curve with the older games, especially in like Sims 3. You know, like that's another one that it's a lot more complex. And so in its gameplay,
that's a whole
which is good.
Park.
But I think it could be a little overwhelming for people as well, depending on if it's their very first Sims game and they just are struggling off the bat or something.
Especially with building.
Yeah, especially if you want to get into building, Sims 4.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think would be easier. I'm not good at it, but but if people want to get into building, I think Sims 4 definitely makes it probably easier for you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. The Sims has shown a lot of progression over time. Since like the Sims 1, like what was weird, you go from Sims 1 with literally 2 skin tones and 3 H stages and a 45-degree angle rotation. I think that's what it was. It was a weird angle. And then just like the gameplay and everything and the objects. Like I was not allowed to play Hot Date whatsoever. So I never played it until like I was 22.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, now I know why I wasn't allowed to play it. That expansion was wild. But when it was like the Sims 1 to the Sims 2 was like a whole like completely different game. 360, the autonomy, everything, 2 extra skin tones and more hairstyles and more age stages, and it made it feel like a family. And I think that's what I love about the Sims 2 the most.
Yeah.
And that's why I go back to it. Yeah. The memory
The family
system.
play is just it's just superior. The family play. And that's because I started playing The Sims when I was probably like 10-ish. And my mom got the Sims 1 complete collection.
Okay.
And so she played it a lot. Like she played it all the time.
Oh
and so we would both play it. And so she was okay with me playing. Like she would let me play like Hot Date and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Even though I was like 11, but like she knew what I could handle. Like, so she knew that like I know where babies come from. I mean, I can play it. It's okay.
I didn't know at the time.
Yeah. So she was okay with it. But definitely, but then like literally the next year, Sims 2 came out. So I was just turning 12 and oh my gosh, it was everything. That's when my genuine obsession began. My true love of The Sims 2 came out, and it's so true. Like how much of a difference between The Sims 1 and The Sims 2. Like The Sims 2, for one, you could go in with all these different angles. You could zoom in really close. You had all these different like camera options. You could, create a sim was so much more in depth. It was ridiculous. Like all of it, and like the neighborhoods just. It was just so good. And the life stages is really what I think made the biggest difference. Like they could actually try for baby, be pregnant, have the baby. And then the baby was like, you could like bathe them in the sink and like all these little interactions. And
that was my favorite thing.
It was so cute. And then they had all these wants to like spend time with their wants and fears. Oh my gosh. And they, they wanted, you had family sims and they wanted, like, I always made family sims. I was pretty boring back then. I only made family sims. And they always just wanted to like, teach the toddler life stage, that was when that started. And so you could teach them to walk and talk and all this different stuff. And oh my gosh. And then the children and then the teens could sneak out and get acting like it was just such a different, like it's just wild how different The Sims 2 was from The Sims 1. Like it was truly a step up in pretty much every single way. Like
100%.
Arguably, like it really was. And The Sims 3 was also like a step up in a lot of different ways. But I still but like The Sims 2 is still like the little details, the little autonomous things is like, what makes that game.
What I tell people all the time, because a lot of people, I feel old when I always say it, because some people haven't played The Sims 2 or like haven't even seen the game, but it's like
they weren't even like alive, like when it was out.
It's like, I'm sorry, but I've been playing this game for so long that you make me feel old.
Yeah.
But like the interaction, what makes me so happy the most is like if a kid is at home and the parent comes back home from work, the kid will literally stop what they're doing to go run to their parent and give them a hug. And I think that only happens when they have a good relationship, I think, or just happens just in general.
Possibly.
But usually for me, it's always like a happy relationship. But then if the kid is at comes home from school and the parents at home and the kid gets like an A on the report card, they'll look at it, jump up and down, and then literally run to that like
they run to their parent to show them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then congratulate them. Like that stuff is so like amazing. And then they can get fixer upper cars, you can fix them up, you can get a car alarm installed, you could drive off. And it's like you can drive to school, walk to school. It's like
and the school buses come and pick them up, and they can go to private school if you invite the headmaster. Like
that one's hard.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I've succeeded the last couple times I've tried it, but it was definitely a struggle for me before. Like I was always failing at that, but I still am really bad at having parties for some reason. They're always just kind of bad, but
I just feed them spaghetti and a hot tub, and then they're good to go.
Yeah.
And some music maybe, but
yeah. So yeah, I think the little details, and even the ones that aren't family oriented, like even the little details, like for example, so if you have a romance sim and they want to like flirt with someone, if you had a really outgoing sim like Don Lothario try to flirt with another sim and like charm them using the charm interaction, he would like be all up in their face and he'd be like whispering in their ear and like very outgoing about how he's flirting. But then if you were playing a shy sim, like Nina Caliente, I think is pretty shy. So, but she also likes to flirt. So if you had her flirt, she would be very like demure and like shy about it. And she wouldn't be all up in their face. Like she would kind of play almost like hard to get in her, like in the way she flirted. And like those little details of those little differences matter so much. Like it shows their personality in the interactions they're doing. Even though it's the same interaction, they're reacting differently because their personalities are different. And that's just so good. I love the attention to those kind of details in The Sims 2.
I mean, no wonder
personalities really shined.
Yeah. I mean, like, no wonder Don Lothario's relationships never worked out. At the beginning, I think he's in a relationship with Caitlin Lankert, who's the maid of Daniel Pleasant, and then also Nina and Dina Caliente, and then Cassandra. Cassandra is like getting to the point where she wants to be engaged to Don. I think you also have that interaction where you could meet her at the altar or leave her at the altar.
Yeah.
And I had them get engaged when I first like started playing again, like a couple of years ago, like 2016. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have them have a kid, but make it work out. But no, Don Lothario and his like sleazy, weird ways of cheating on Cassandra with Nina, Dina, and Caitlin. My save file is so crazy. Like I have so much history. It's kind of insane. They're all dying off though, but it's
I'm scared funny. For like, because like I have that Uber hood and that's going to be every neighborhood.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be so much. I'm scared. But like, and that's the thing about The Sims 2 is the pre-mades. Like I never play the pre-mades in Sims 3 or Sims 4. I'm always playing like the Sims 2 pre-mades because their lore could go on for pages and pages. And like their personalities are so fully fleshed out and like their memories, and it's just, you get immediately attached to the pre-mades in The Sims 2. So I love playing them so much. And that's the thing too, is you can play them a million times and always have different outcomes.
Exactly.
Like it could always end up different. Like nobody's 2 saves are going to look exactly the same.
Oh no.
And I just love that about that game.
I always say start with Don Lothario. He's connected to the Goth family, the Calientes, like everyone. Like when you really, really, truly think about it, you're connected with everybody. And it's just like, you can go in many different directions. You can go with the Pleasant route, you can go with the Caliente route, the Goth route, or just the Lothario route. One way or another, you're going to end up with a kid somewhere down the line. Who really
definitely,
knows?
It's going to happen at some point, especially if you have mods. Because I use ACR, that Autonomous Casual Romance mod.
Yeah, that mod, I'm scared.
But it's so good because like they'll autonomously do romantic things with each other. So like I'll be like talking to chat, like while I'm streaming, just talking to chat, and then I look over because I wasn't paying attention, and someone's trying for baby, and I'm like, oh no.
No.
No. But like it's, oh my gosh, it's just so funny. But like even without that mod,
it's wild.
Chaos will ensue no matter what. Like it's just that kind of game.
You know what? It's weird because I was streaming The Sims 2, I think like last week or so, and when I was playing, I played Strange Town for the first time in a long time, and I was playing with the Grunt family, and I don't know if you know, but the wife of the Grunt family died, or like she divorced
Yeah, it
General
was like they got
Buzz,
divorced and then
and then
she
she got
died.
electrocuted. Yeah. And so General Buzz, I was just playing, talking to chat as usual, and then it was raining, and then he got electrocuted by lightning. And then I was just chalking. I was like, oh, he's smelly and dirty. I'm gonna have to take a bath or a shower. I went upstairs. Somehow I sped 3 without even realizing it, and then he just
Oh
straight up
no, you never
died.
speed 3 in The Sims 3. In The Sims 2. I feel like every time I speed 3 in The Sims 2, it just ends so badly.
It's sad
so much
because
happens in such a short time.
like I sped 3 so fast that he died, Grim came and then left, and I didn't see a thing. I saved my game, doing whatever because Sims 2's crazy, and then my chat was like, like he probably didn't notice. Like, and I'm like, what do you mean I didn't notice? And someone clipped it, and Buck comes in the bathroom dancing around his father's grave because there was a stereo nearby. So that was why he was dancing. But I'm like, oh my gosh, because he was a forgotten child where he was never really paid attention to. And then 2 minutes later after that,
He was really, yeah. Yeah, Buck is like, he's like the littlest one, I think. I haven't played Strange Town too much. I'm actually excited to get into that in my rotations I'm doing. But
yes.
I have plans, but but like all these families are just, I don't know, they're so in depth, like their backstories, like the fact that he had, they could have just made him a single dad, whatever, but they made him have an ex-wife who he divorced, and then she died. Like they're so intricate, and like, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on Olive Spectre.
Oh my gosh. The amount
if you
of
haven't
in her
done
backyard.
anything, go look up Olive Spectre's memories, and like early demise was like her 5th husband who just mysteriously died. Like, and oh my gosh, there's so much to these.
And like the Polynesian technician family, like Jenny Smith and all that.
Yeah.
It's weird because their house is like straight up the white picket fence 1950s.
I love their house.
Suburban
so
home.
Much.
Green, luscious furniture. Like it's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Ugh. And then the Grunt family hates aliens. Like, like, so like it's like Buzz is raising his sons to hate aliens. Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, oh, but maybe we could have like Buck befriend like the little girl, or like the, like in that family. And like, there's just so many ways that you could go about making stories. Yeah. But the stories really tell themselves in that game. And that's the thing. Like, I love telling stories. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I definitely like to set things up, but I also like the game to carry the story and follow through with it. So that's the thing I like about The Sims 2 is if you set up a story, it will follow through. Like it will.
Oh, 100%.
And it will even make its own. Like, it's just such a good game. It's just, like I already have plans in my Uberhood of like playing with Brandy Broke and having her get with General Buzz, and they become like
my gosh,
a whole Brady Bunch, because I feel like Dustin and Bo and like all her kids, they really need like a father figure. He's pretty strict and but if they had him as like a father figure, but then Buzz's kids had the nurturing Brandy Broke. Like, it's just, I'm like, ooh, we could make this work.
Because like when you think about it, because like there's Dustin and then there's Bo and then the unborn child that Brandy has.
We just had our unborn child. We just had the unborn child in last night's stream, and it was good. I have clean templates installed, so it was a girl. And she looks just like her brothers. And oh my gosh, I'm just so excited to play them.
I had straight up boys throughout the entire thing, no matter what I did, all boys. She has 4 kids. 4. She named her, Dustin, Bo, Camden, which was the unborn child that I named. And then she got married again to like some other person, Vincent Hurt. And then I named that kid after Skip. So it's Skip Broke. So after her dead husband with another person that she married. Oh gosh. So it's definitely a wild game where you don't have to do anything because the game does it for you. It's like does itself.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
Like that's how Brandy even met Buzz, because I was playing the Grunt family. And since it's an Uberhood, all the worlds are connected. So Brandy like came over with the welcome wagon. And that's how she met that whole family. And the kids really liked her. And I'm like, ooh, we could do something with this, you know? So that's where my ideas come from, is from what the game did itself. Like, the game just did that. So now I have all these ideas of what I want to do to tell more story. And like this whole round is so different from anything I've done. Like with the Pleasants, I always usually have like I think I would have Mary, Sue, and Daniel break up, and then the twins would live with either one of them. Mm-hmm. But this time around, Lilith ran away. And she came back and everyone beat her up. So I decided that we were just gonna, because Lilith is my favorite sim in Pleasant View. I'm telling you, Lilith is where it's at. She's so underrated and misunderstood. And so
she really is.
So I had her move out of her house as a teenager, and now she lives with the oldies, which are her grandparents, Mary Sue's parents. So now good. Lilith is living with her grandparents, which also makes the oldies more fun to play for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have all these ideas, and like I'm so excited and that's the thing. It can be so different every single time you play these pre-made sims. There's so many ways they can go. Yeah, I mean, I could talk for hours about it.
Oh, same.
It's just, it's so good.
Man, I want to one day figure out how to make an Uberhood, because I find that so much fun where all the worlds are connected, because you have River Blossom Hills, Belladonna Cove, Strangetown, Veronicaville, which is, I feel like, I don't know, I forget about that world sometimes because I don't really pay attention to the whole Romeo and Juliet, because I've read and seen so many different variations of Romeo and Juliet that I'm like, I don't want it in The Sims.
Right. And like the thing, like, and so I've actually been thinking about making a video of like how I did the Uberhood. It's actually very simple, and I promise. So I was thinking about doing that because it really, I love it so much. And that way, like if one neighborhood gets boring to you, they can literally move to another town. Like it doesn't, and they can, like a sim from Strangetown can get married to a sim from Belladonna Cove or whatever. Like a lot more options and chaos can happen. And then with Veronaville, that's a world that I definitely overlooked, especially as a kid. I was like, this is boring. I don't care about Romeo and Juliet. But going back and playing it now, there are so many stories, because there are a lot of like bin families with that world. So I placed them all down. I
forgot about those.
Yeah. So I placed them all down, and most of them are family. They're like either Monties or Caps. So I placed them all down, but like even they have backstory. Like there's one, he's like a Monty, and he has 2 kids, and his wife died in a fire or something. And then someone else from the Caps died in that same fire. So that's why they actually don't like each other. I know there's this like whole big thing. And now I want the Monties to like run a restaurant, like an Italian restaurant or something, because they all love food. And I don't know. It's given me so many ideas to play with Veronaville, and there's so many backstories with Veronaville. So it's like going back as an adult now and looking into that world, I'm like, wow, this is actually a lot more than just Romeo and Juliet, which is all I really noticed as a kid. So now it's like, wow, there's actually a lot of depth to this world I didn't notice before.
Exactly. I could go on and on about The Sims 2 for literally years.
I feel like we could talk about Sims 2 all day, but yeah.
So with YouTube and The Sims, you were once Starlight Sims and then changed to Starwinxie. Like why did you wanted to change like the name?
So
because I feel like so back then was like that. When you had like a YouTube channel back in like 2013, it's like blank and then Sims. That's all it was. And then we venture off into other things. But why the change?
So Starlight Sims is dead, but
gone.
R.I.P. But yeah, so Starlight Sims, I honestly don't even remember how I came up with that name. It was probably something just totally random that I thought sounded good. And I played The Sims, so it just made sense in that time. But I think especially since I was making the transition in like 2019-ish to Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
I just really felt like it was a new start in my life. And so I kind of
Yeah.
felt like I needed the rebrand, the name change to really follow through with that. And so, because I didn't just want to be known as like, oh, the Sims player. Like, and
Yeah.
this way I feel like I can do pretty much anything and there's no expectation of why isn't this Sims, and because I don't have that
Yeah.
attached to my name anymore. And so now it's just I can do what I want without feeling like I need to play The Sims or that it's expected of me to play The Sims, even though I still mainly play The Sims because it's like my favorite. But I don't feel like
Yeah.
there's so much pressure to just play The Sims. Because like if I were to try and play like Detroit Become Human even on YouTube, I don't know how well that would go, Whereas like over on Twitch, people are always looking. If they're looking in that category, then they'll find you. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like it's
Yeah.
easier on Twitch to just kind of be whatever you want to be. YouTube is a lot more specific, like categories. Like it's
Yeah. Like
you have the
you're
Sims
in this
channel, you have a
group.
beauty channel, you have,
Yeah.
like
Little categories.
different categories. And so I just really wanted to change that. And I changed my YouTube too, but at this point I grew such a Sims channel that I think it'd be hard to do anything else. But Twitch is still relatively new to me. Like only a couple years I've really been streaming consistently on Twitch. So I feel like I'm able to do more just of whatever I want to do. That's not just The Sims.
That's good. I like that mindset,
Yeah.
and I've been, transitioning into that as well. Cause like where I was like, I'm gonna do Sims all day, every day, but I feel like I do YouTube and I do Twitch at the same time. I'm gonna eventually get burned out, and I don't want that to happen because I've made this like quote unquote career out of it. That I'm like, if I stop, like I'm nothing or something like that. But you have to constantly like reinvent yourself to try out new things that will eventually like make you happy
Right.
and make other people happy, where it's like a win-win situation. So I like what I was like, I always give people these ideas because like if you get burnt out of The Sims, but you can't think of any new ideas, think of other games you've played. Like, I don't know, Detroit Become Human, you could recreate those characters in The Sims or build their house in The Sims. Like, I think all these new ideas, like if people play Fortnite, but they also The Sims, build a Fortnite house in The Sims.
Yeah.
So I'm like, combine two franchises together and see what happens. But I know that's what I've just been trying to do, like to reinvent myself a lot more by branding in other games into the main game that I really play a lot.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah,
I think that's
I say,
cool.
I think you should do it. Just saying.
maybe I should.
So you mentioned that your first ever upload was like a Sims 2 like legacy type of thing, but you never like you put it on private. But the first upload that people see on your channel is your Generations and Seasons Let's Play The Sims 3 with the Logan family. Did you like ever expect it to be big impact on people's life at the beginning to where you are now?
I mean, okay, so I started the Logans when I was like 3 months into my channel. And so it was very quick. It was very soon after I started YouTube that I created that. And I honestly just did it because I wanted to do something that I hadn't seen really on YouTube at that point, which was at the time, it was like combining 2 expansions into 1 LP wasn't really a thing. Like we had Generations LPs, we had Seasons LPs, but we didn't have like a combination. So I decided, I'm like, maybe this will stand out. I don't know, but I didn't really think it would or expect it to or expect a ton of growth at all from it. I just kind of decided to make it and try it and see what happened. And it just became something I still don't understand.
It's become a staple.
I still don't understand. And and I still have people like come into chat and they're like, oh my gosh, you do Twitch now? You were my childhood. And I'm like, me, like, and it's weird to think of my Let's Play as something that impacted anybody that much because it's something I made. I don't know. It's just a weird thing to think about, but I never expected it to become what it was. And yeah, I'm so thankful and grateful for it. But I also at the same time, it added so much pressure because I was like, oh, now I need to make sure this is actually like really good. And I need to make sure
Yeah.
that the chaos keeps happening because that's what people like about this family is they're very chaotic and they're a lot. And so I'm like, oh gosh, how am I going to make this entertaining? So I got a lot. That's when I started getting a lot more into like being very conscious about what I was doing with my editing or like where my stories were going to try to keep it entertaining. But yeah, I never expected it to turn the way that it did ever, for sure.
Oh man, I feel like 2013 was like the best year for like Sims YouTubers, where it was like for me, for like what I watched was like you, James, Deli, Jen, Jessica, Sim Sweetie, Life Simmer. Like
Yes.
it was like like your group, that group of people were like the OGs in my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a surreal moment of like, wow, they were literally my childhood, but we're all literally the same age or like in the same age group. So it's weird, but
Only I think a few years older than you, but it's just
yeah.
I don't know. It's just so wild to me. And like I was 21 when I started my channel. And it's so weird to think I'm literally going to be 29. Like what? Like that is just whoa.
Time
Yeah.
flies.
But and like I think at the time I was 21 and there were a lot of like kids who probably shouldn't have been watching my Let's Plays because they were pretty like
yeah.
they were something. But now they're all those people that watched are grown up. And so now they're all like college kids. So most of my community is like people in college who are like, you know, living their lives as like young adults. And now I'm like in my late 20s. It's just time has passed so much. But like I'm so grateful that people that people have stuck with me for 7 years and like literally grew up watching me and still continue to watch me, even though I'm on Twitch now. Like that means so much to me. Like I never expected it ever.
Life changing. Like, would you like? Do you miss the Logan Family? Like, do you still have that save
I
file?
do. I actually just recently started playing it on stream again. And so I've been playing.
How did I miss it?
I've been playing the Logans on stream for like probably a couple weeks. So I just recently started playing them again. And that was like a goal, like a stream goal that we reached was to play the Logans on from like again. And it's become like a pretty normal thing, like either every other week or so playing them. And it's been a lot of fun to revisit that family. And now like if you remember Talia and Alex, like if you remember from the first season, like they're elders now. And I know, and they have like 5 kids and it's a whole big thing, but I love playing them and it's so fun to see how much the chat still loves them and just how much the community still when they think of me, they think of the Logan family. Like there's
yeah, that's what my brain thinks. I'm like Logan, Starwinxie. That's who I know.
they just really pair me with the Logan. Like, and I never ever feel bad about that. If anything, I'm like happy that this random Sim family I made became something so extra that I never thought it would. So it makes me happy more than anything to have that like connotation.
Yeah. Because the last episode you uploaded was like a year ago, I think. And it was like titled like New Girl with season 2, episode 38. I'm like, who is this new girl? Like, what's going on? I need to know more about it. But it's very interesting because like it was like 50 episodes for like one season and 38 for like season 2. I don't know, it's like become like a whole like TV show where you create a story and then you kind of carry it on for like multiple like episodes or like multiple seasons for like years and years. And it's like people become attached to those characters, like they're real, but you've built them from the ground up and they're still around. And it feels great to know that you still have them because
I could never
I love that family so much.
Yeah, I'm so sentimental with my family, especially my Let's Play. I have I think I still have my Island Paradise family. I still have like all of my Sims 3 families because they're just
Oh my.
they just mean so much. Like all of my Let's Play family, because like there's so many memories there from making the Let's Play, and I just can't bring myself to like let them go, just in case I did want to
Oh
revisit
yeah.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. It's so fun to see that people still have a reaction, because like I went through kind of like how I mentioned before with like my mental health and feeling like, oh, I don't really want to upload anymore, and YouTube's analytics punching me in the face. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm just like, oh, I don't know, but I still can play them on stream and people will still come and hang out, and I don't know, it's a fun time. It always is. And I don't know, I like I said, I never expected it. And I think, I don't know, there's something about that. Like I really I almost didn't upload my very first video, so it was a lot, and I was so grateful to have that growth. But then, like I said, it also added the pressure, and then it
Yeah.
it made me like, when I really started to second guess myself, and that's when I kind of stopped uploading, and that's why the last part is like from a year ago, from season 2 of Generations. So it has been so long, and I started to feel like kind of this washed up. Like I don't even know how to explain it, because like I feel like I did
No.
experience success, because like, which I'm very grateful for, and like that the channel grew the way it did. But then I also feel like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, how can I ever keep living up to what this was? And like, how can I get it back? And how
Yeah.
can I make it happen all the time? And it became very unhealthy, like a very unhealthy mindset for me. So that's kind of why I took a step back from YouTube mainly. But now that time has passed, it's been like a couple years since I really felt that way. And now that I'm more focused on Twitch, I feel comfortable bringing them back, because I do love the Logans. But I also think for a time, I want to say I resented them, because that sounds harsh. That sounds real harsh. But there was a point where I couldn't upload anything without people asking, where's the Logans though? And as much as
Mm-hmm.
I love, you know, how much people love that family. Like I'm so grateful for that. But I also, there was just so much pressure to only do that Let's Play and play that family and keep it entertaining. And it just got to
Yeah.
be a little bit too much. And so taking a step away from them for like a year or so was actually really good. And now I love this family even more than I think I did before. It's like that love for that family has been renewed for me playing it on stream. And I'm really excited to like get back into playing them and see where their stories go. And like I've made like neighbors to meet the one of the youngest like Sims in the Logan family now, and I'm going to continue on with her.
Yeah.
And I have all these plans for where she's going to go, and it's just been totally renewed, and
Oh,
I'm excited about it.
that's adorable. I'm just so excited. Oh, it's like, for me, I consider you like an OG Sims YouTuber, like kind of started the Sims YouTube era for a lot of people. I would say, like making Let's Plays and commentary and making videos and interacting with people, making these like very intricate stories for your Sims, and kind of like evolving over time where you are like the godmother or like the mother of the Sims community for like YouTube.
The grandma of the Sims.
The-
I mean that's amazing. I really it's like I don't
yeah.
think of myself, because it's hard to see yourself the way that other people see you.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's just kind of like wild to think about that. Like you put my name next to like Life Simmer or Urban Sims or whoever, and it's hard for me to see myself on that level or to that extent.
Hmm.
But it means a lot. I don't know, that really touched my
Yeah.
heart.
But you know what's weird though?
Mm.
Like back then, I feel like people always thought that everyone sounded the
Oh
same.
yeah. I
Like
got a lot of
it was
comments that I
weird.
sounded like Jen, like Urban Sims. And I don't
I
hear
got
it
that comment too. I'm like,
at all.
no, I
Don't
don't.
hear it at all. Well, I think when I get excited, I sometimes talk in like a New England accent. So I think that might be why, like there are a lot of times
Yeah.
I'm playing my Uber Hood and there's a family called the Rutherfords, but
Hmm.
my New Englander comes out when I say it, and I'm like Rutherford. And I think that might be where it comes from, because like sometimes she has kind of an accent too. Sometimes I have an accent. So maybe that's where that comes from. But I was always like compared to different people, and I was like, I don't hear it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that also kind of added to, for at least for like me, I guess, the added pressure of like, you sound like this person, like you're like people or
Yeah.
like viewers that weren't either like subscribed or were subscribed would compare you to other people. I'm like, I
Mhm.
don't like that. I'm my own person. So it made you, I guess for me, it made me kind of like wanting to not diversify my content, but like make my content different from
Mhm.
others, or at least try to, where I'm like, I'm my own separate person, but I still make the same content as other people you might watch. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like I remember,
It was just definitely a weird
like when I
time.
started Generations, I remember like it was fairly early on, back when that first started like growing and stuff. And I got a lot of comments that were like, you remind me so much of Life Simmer. And that's such a compliment. Like that's such a compliment. I get
Yeah.
it. But I'm also like,
Oh,
no,
100%.
like there is no other Life Simmer. Like she is queen, you know? And I'm like, I'm like,
Yeah.
she is Life Simmer. You can't, I'm not Life, you know? And so it was kind of like, oh no, how can I ever live up to someone like that? Like, I don't know. And so, which I love Christina, but like, that's how I kind of felt. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, how am I going to live up to this person? And that happened a lot. And then I think in 2017 was when Parenthood came out for The Sims 4. And
Yeah.
my channel kind of had, I guess, a new surge of growth. And so
Yeah.
I don't even know why, but but it did. And I got really overwhelmed because there was a lot of like hate comments and comments that accused me of copying someone else's let's play of it. And like it was like every comment on the video was how I copied this other person, and I didn't even see that other person's videos on it, so it literally
Yeah.
couldn't have been copied. So sometimes I love the Sims community, but there are times where like certain ones, like especially on YouTube and stuff, will like start to cause like point out things that aren't there. You know, you're
Yeah.
copying this person. Well, no, I literally couldn't because I didn't see it. Or, you know, you're just like this person. Well,
Yeah.
that puts pressure on me now. And, you know, people just really like to like just assume so many things about you
Yeah.
based on your content. And
Yeah.
it's like we're all doing a let's play on one specific Sims game pack. So it's like, of course it's gonna be fairly similar. Like it's the same game. Like there's only so many different, like when you're reviewing a pack, it's gonna be pretty similar to other people. I think that's
Yeah.
important to remember, is even though I try to make things my own, like it's bound to have similarities to someone else's without me even realizing it. Like because the Sims YouTuber community is so broad. Like how do you constantly do something different all the time? You know, how do you keep yourself from having the same content as someone else, even if you're not consciously doing it? Like even if you didn't watch someone's content, your content might be similar just because
Hmm.
it's the same exact pack you're reviewing. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's only
Yeah.
so different that it could possibly be. And so yeah, that definitely stressed me out at the time too, is like the comparisons. And it's like I didn't really even compare myself to others until other people did. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, it does. It's hard definitely because it was like, I would think just for The Sims in general, because it's lasted for so long, for like 21 years, that people have changed, grew, made new content, but it's like, whereas I think just The Sims alone, and maybe Minecraft too, I don't know. But it's like when you make a certain type of content, it's like it's all the same. It's all
Uh,
people see, it's all the same. You aren't different, you're just that person. And it's hard to get out of that box. So you have to constantly like reinvent
yeah.
yourself, cancel series or like start new ones
I have
or
so
kind of think
many.
of
Oh
new
my gosh. I
ideas.
feel like my YouTube channel is just like a graveyard of Sims 4 Let's Plays that never saw closure. Like it's
Okay,
literally,
same.
and it's like mostly because I just got burnt out or got bored and just didn't feel, I just couldn't be bothered to try to finish it. But and then I get embarrassed because I'm like, oh gosh, if you go to my channel, all you see is all these unfinished Let's Plays. Like, I think I have maybe 3 or 4 or 5 finished Let's Plays out of like 20, you know? Like, so I'm like, oh gosh, it's like, it looks so bad. But I do think reinventing yourself is important, no matter what kind of thing you do. Like if you think of musicians, a lot of them reinvent themselves to try to stay relevant. And that's kind of how I feel like content creation can be. It's just a constant, how do I stay relevant? Or how do I get relevant again? And it's constantly changing, just like the music industry is always changing. I think content creation, YouTube is so different now than it was when I started. And that's why
Oh, it definitely
I
is.
think I also kind of struggle, because it was, in 2014, you could just record yourself without face cam, just playing a game. And it was enough. It was enough to entertain so many people and grow a channel. And now, and back then you could do like 30, 40-minute parts and stuff. And now it seems like the 12-minute mod reviews or like something really quick and snappy is what does the best. And so it's just constantly changing. And I think it can be hard to try to constantly roll with the punches and know exactly what you're doing. It's a lot of trial and error. And that's another reason why I like Twitch, because at least it doesn't seem like it has to be such a guessing game for me of like, oh, well, I mean, you still don't know if certain games and certain things will do as well. But I feel like if people are on Twitch to sit and watch you for a few hours, then that's like consistent. Like they're always going to be there to watch whatever you're doing, however long you do it. It doesn't really matter what you're doing as much, at least in my opinion. Whereas YouTube, it's just so, and like editing, I never edited my videos.
Oh my God. Really?
Like, okay, so I edited my videos in like 2014, like when I started, like, but it was literally just, like pasting clips together. Like it wasn't anything, but now I feel like I almost have to spend 8 hours a day editing a video just to make it, 1, short because I ramble, and 2, keep it entertaining. Like how you just watch a video and you can tell how much work went into the editing. And I feel like those videos do so well because they're keeping it entertaining with what they're adding into the editing, whether they're even like the 2 seconds where their voice is a higher pitch or they put a funny filter on their face for a couple seconds. Like that takes time, and it's just time I don't have anymore. And I can't, and so
it's a lot.
Yeah. And whereas Twitch, it's like, you just, get on your computer, put on your camera and talk. And it's pretty, it's pretty simple. And so that's a big reason why I've also been getting into Twitch, because the editing with YouTube is like, I feel like I need to spend a lot of time editing, or I just don't have time. Yeah, it's hard to keep going and reinventing yourself over and over, for sure.
Yeah, it is definitely hard. I mean, I spend a lot of time editing, but then I was like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I can't edit everything. So I'm like, I'm just going to hire somebody to edit my videos for me. So I'm like, you go edit videos and you can upload them, and I just add the description and thumbnail.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy like the editing process, and I still do like a few here and there. Like there are times where I would record for a whole like hour and a half, and then I have to cut out so much to make it like a 10-minute, 12-minute video just to get like the ads in, because nowadays, like with YouTube, you can have an 8-minute video and still have ads. Like you can add like mid-roll ads in there if you wanted to. Before it was like 10, but now it's like 8 and 10. So I was like, I want to have like at least a 12-minute video or 15-minute video. It's like, it's not long, but it's also like not short, but it's like in the in-between.
Right.
So I'm like, oh gosh, editing's fun, but it's so stressful.
I would record, and I mean, and depending on your technical difficulties, or if you just don't like, don't like how the recording came out, or you feel like it's boring, nothing really happened, you want to like record it again. Oh my gosh, it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to like 2 or 3 hours, depending on everything. And then the editing is like, takes forever, especially if you want to try to keep it like cut down and short and I cut out all my and I got very like, I cut out like every little thing that I thought was like not good. I don't know. I got very obsessed over my editing, and it's like
I would cut out everything.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have the time. Like I don't. And and it's like I am a mom, so it's like I want to spend time with my kid and my family and
Yeah.
for me, Twitch is just easier for me to balance right now with all of that and also kind of being like a stay-at-home mom and this past year almost like homeschooling my
Yeah.
kid, like being a teacher too. So it's like I have less time than ever before. And so sitting down, by the time at the end of the day, I'm just too tired to try to record a video and spend my whole day editing it. Like my time is just very different from how I started. And I look back and are you ever jealous of your past self?
Oh,
Because
100%. I look.
I swear I look back and I'm like, how was I 21 with a 1-year-old baby and recording like 12 videos a week? How did that happen? Like I was a college student. I'm like, how did I do all of that? Like
Oh
how?
my gosh.
And now I can barely like stream for a couple hours like a week and I'm like, man, I'm tired. And I'm just like, oh, man, I wish I had that same like motivation or energy, but like times
Same.
just change and it doesn't mean that you're worse now than you were then. It's just you have different responsibilities and different things
Exactly.
happening. So yeah, but I think about that too. I'm like, comparison to other people is bound to happen sometimes, but like I compare myself to myself a lot, like to my past self. And
Same.
I don't know how healthy that is, but I always am.
It's mostly unhealthy for me because I don't know how in the world, because when I first started like my SpringSims channel, I had 2 jobs, going to school part-time, and then I was also recording videos every single day. I was uploading every single day, sometimes twice a day. And then a year afterwards, 2015, I started like kind of streaming here and there. And then I think it was when I got more into like YouTube and uploading even more. I still had like 2 jobs. Then I tackled on another job at school and I went to school full
Gosh.
time. And then 2017, I started streaming. So that was like an extra added thing. Granted, back like 2017, I wasn't like uploading as often. I was uploading like every other day, and I still do that now. But it's like a whole other ballpark. And I was traveling, and then I was getting bigger on YouTube, and people were knowing who I was, and had all these like different EA things. It was just a very weird time of like handling all of that. I don't know how I managed having 2 jobs, going to school full time, tackling YouTube and Twitch, and then other projects at the same time, while still trying to manage a like somewhat B average GPA.
Yeah, I mean,
I was
I
losing my
honestly
mind.
have always looked at you as like the one who has it all together. Like I don't know how. Like I'm like, how does he do it? Like I really, I'm like, and like I say that from a very like admiring place. Like I would look at you and I'm like, how does he like? And even now, I still see you that way. I'm like, you have this podcast and you have Twitch and YouTube and you have, you do your graphic art and you are doing school and you have your job. Like you just are always doing so much. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how I can barely handle one thing. Like it's just, and the thing I've learned
I don't even know.
over the years too is I've learned a lot about my mental health and the like everybody's different and like
Yeah.
and I think we all have I don't know if you've heard of like the spoon theory of like your mental health.
Mm-mm.
It's like we all have a certain amount of spoons that we can use in a day before they need to be washed and like repair or whatever you want to say. Like basically I have like 3 spoons and one of them is taking a shower. Second one is helping my
Yeah.
kid with schoolwork and the third one is streaming. So that's kind of like your energy level is how I see my spoons. And so it's like after
Yeah.
that I need to wash them and that's like cuz I have no more energy to give. I have no more to give after that. And even though like and that might someone else might have 10 spoons, they might have 10 more different like energy sources than me and they might be able to do all of that and more, and that's okay. Like we're all different and we all have different things going on and we can all handle different amounts, and that's okay,
Yeah.
and trying not to like force yourself to do too much is what I've really been focusing on, and not feeling like I need to do it all the time, because I just can't. I just can't personally. It got to be
Yeah.
too much for me. And so that's where that spoon theory comes from. And it's kind of interesting. So it's like after you use so much energy, you need to replenish it. You need to relax. You need to let yourself get that energy back. So give yourself resting days and give yourself, don't take on more than you need. Wash your spoons, like you don't need to constantly try to find more spoons. Like just wash the ones you got, like, and just until you're rejuvenated, basically. And then you're going to be able to give more when you're not complete. It's like giving from an empty cup, so that's kind of what I've developed over the years. That's helped me a lot.
That's good. I like that spoon theory. I just looked it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense.
Yeah, you
now.
can look it up, and there's like all kinds of like facts and stuff about the theory. But it makes sense.
It really does. Oh my gosh. It's definitely very interesting because like when it was like YouTubers who are parents and like are married, I'm like, how do you manage all those? Like that's 2 relationships, a child and then a marriage. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How do they manage all of that? It makes no sense to me because nor I don't have a child nor I am married. But it's like I say true MVPs because you have to manage taking care of a full-grown child, feed them, wash them, bathe them, all that other stuff, school, and then the whole marriage part, maintaining that, and then, making sure all things are good with, you and your significant other. And it's just definitely a lot to handle. But I say you MVP.
Oh,
you have a child.
Thank you.
6-year-old child, almost like 7 years
8.
old, married.
Yes.
8?
Can you believe he's going to be in the 3rd grade in the fall?
I feel old.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not ready.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just wait until he hits double digits, 10 years old. He's gonna like, I'm the top of the world. I'm the best of the best. That's how I was though when I was
That's
10.
how he is now. He's
Oh gosh.
He's definitely has a big personality for sure. But yeah, like he's 8. I can't believe I have an 8-year-old. Like what is time?
Oh gosh. Time flies. Just be prepared for driving.
Oh no. I'm scared of that. I can't even have my husband drive because I'm so anxious. And I feel like he's a really bad driver. Like,
oh my gosh.
No offense to him. He can probably hear me right now. But I'm that person that if I'm in a car with someone, I need to be driving. And it's not that I think I'm such a better driver. It's just I like being in control of the vehicle. And it gives me so much anxiety when someone else is driving. So I don't know who's going to teach our kid to drive. It probably shouldn't be me because I feel like I'm just going to give him more anxiety than he needs.
Do you ever feel like when you're driving, do you feel like you're just flying or like you're just floating? Like you go to the store and then you're driving home and you get home, you're like, did I drive somewhere? Because like when I drive, I feel like I'm driving. I know I'm driving, but I feel like I'm just floating through everything that I didn't even drive.
It's like
at all.
Driving has become so second nature that it's just kind of like an extension of your legs, and it's just like you just go there and then you come back. Like I get what you mean for sure, because like I'll be driving and I'll just listen to music or whatever, and it's like I'm paying attention while I'm driving, but I'm also in like this like not dream state, but I'm
Weird
I kind of like do kind of space out a bit, and then before I know it, I'm home, and it's like. Yeah, it's like, wait, did I go somewhere?
Yeah. I think the one thing I hate about driving, though, is like, I don't want to pay for insurance or gas or drive at all because I don't like driving a lot. It is.
And like, luckily, I don't have to drive too far. Like, my mom lives like 20 minutes away from us, and my husband lives like 10 minutes from work. So it's like we don't have to travel too far. But yeah, I definitely like the really long car rides. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, those long car rides make me happy because I can fall asleep when I'm not driving. So we have come towards the end of the podcast.
Time flies. Oh my gosh.
I wanted to wrap up with
I talk a lot.
Yeah, almost like 2 hours long.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I could talk for days. Let me tell you. A lot.
Especially when we got into Sims 2. I think that's what did it. We really talked about the Sims 2 for like an hour. Oh.
But I want to ask you some rapid fire questions because I find those really fun, but they're never rapid fire because they're like elongated questions. But the first question, though, I wanted to ask you, What's your favorite music group that you've been listening to at the moment?
My favorite
Or
group?
or just music in general?
Music in
Or
general. Okay,
artists?
well, the
Yeah.
newest album I listened to was Sour by Olivia Rodrigo.
I need to watch.
So
I need to
good.
listen to that one.
So
Yeah.
good. Hope You're Okay is like my favorite from her album. Oh my gosh, so
Okay.
good. Traitor is so good. They're all really good. And then for a group, I'm really into the band Camino. I don't know if you've heard of them, but
Mm-mm.
I really like their sound. It's like alternative meets pop, and I
Hmm.
really like it. So yeah, those are probably who I listen to the most. And of course Taylor Swift. Like I'm a
Yeah.
big Swiftie. So,
I feel like Olivia Rodrigo has reinvented herself very quickly. When you think about it, like the whole Disney, I could talk about this on a whole other episode, but like when you think about it, Disney has reinvented themselves so many times, especially like when Hannah Montana, That's So Raven, Sweet Life, and all those other like TV shows came around, and then
yeah.
for years, and then they end after like a certain like amount of like years or seasons, and then you hear something crazy happening. Like, for example, I know she's doing fine right now, but Miley Cyrus, that
Yeah.
was just like, what? She goes from Hannah Montana to Banger, and then Liam Hemsworth marriage, and then not anymore, and then all these different other things. But she's still a great person, doing amazing things. But she's like whole 360 reinventing
Yeah, and I
herself.
think that they probably feel the pressure from like being seen as like these perfect
Yeah,
Disney from a young age. I mean, they were like what 14 when they start these shows. So it's like
yeah,
so from being such a young age to go through all of that and be put on a pedestal from the time you're like a child and have to be seen as perfect when there is no such thing as perfect and you're bound to make mistakes and everybody makes mistakes and and it's so true and it's and she has a song called Nobody's Perfect but still
yeah,
Disney and everybody expected her to be perfect. So
yeah.
I feel like that would add a lot of pressure. So I think it's almost like a rebelling thing. Like once you're out of that contract and you can do what you
Mhm.
want, it's like, all right, I'm going to go hard in the opposite direction just to prove
Exactly.
that I'm not that person. And, people are going to judge me anyway. So I might as well just do whatever I want. And I think that's where that kind of comes from. So even though that
Yeah.
wasn't my favorite Miley era, I
Mm.
can respect it and see where she
Yeah.
came from.
Because, like, you have a famous dad, first of all, Billy
Yeah.
Ray, and then having to kind of, I guess, not really live up, but like have, I don't know, something to like be overall, like, you're expected to be like your dad or like
There's a
be like,
connotation. There's like there's like
yeah,
they expect you to live up
be a
to or
certain
like
way.
you're automatically in the spotlight if your parents are famous. So it's like,
Exactly. It's like, child star, no thank you, not for me, no, thank you.
no.
So the next question, do you have any recommendations for anyone for like books, podcasts, TV shows, etc.?
TV shows, The Handmaid's Tale. Oh my
I need
God,
to
it's so
watch
good this
that.
season. You haven't seen it?
I need to watch it. I've only seen
You need
episode
to.
1, season 1.
Oh my gosh. Yes, they're on season 4 now.
Oh
And
my
I swear it's the
gosh.
best season they've had so far. There's so much happening. And it's actually like, it's like the whole show has been a fuse burning and now it's like exploding. So it's like very exciting. I'm very into that right now. As well as there's a show that actually just ended. Like they have their series finale and they're called Superstore. Have you seen it? It's
Oh, I've
funny.
heard of it. Oh,
It's
it
like if you
ended.
want like a funny show about like people who work retail and you can relate to that and you want like it's so funny. Like it's so good. So those are probably my two favorite ones. I also got very into Bridgerton on Netflix.
Mhm.
For reasons. For some reasons. But yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
Those are some good ones. Yeah. I need to get back into
Oh,
Bridgerton though. It's been a minute. Oh my
you haven't
god.
finished it?
No. I'm very slow. I've been
Yeah.
watching Grey's Anatomy lately and Station 19 and those
See, I
shows.
started that, and then I think I got into like the sixth. I got pretty far into it, but then I found out my favorite character died. So I was like, you know what? I'm not watching this anymore.
They're up to season 17. They just got renewed for
That's
season 18.
ridiculous. That
It's
is
been
wild.
it's been going on since 2005. They need to slow
That's
their
a
roll.
lot.
Like calm
Yeah,
down.
That's almost as old as The Sims 2. That's a lot.
Oh gosh. Oh no. It's so weird because like when they started like introducing like Twitter and all these other social medias, I started laughing because like, oh my gosh, they don't know. It's so weird. MySpace. Weird times.
MySpace. Oh boy.
Oh. But the next question is, what advice would you give to someone, whether it was like your younger self or somebody in general who is wanting to get into like the quote unquote internet gaming space of like either YouTube or like streaming on Twitch? Like, what advice would you give to like your younger self or somebody else?
Well, okay. So I think what I would say, and it's very much easier said than done, and it sounds like such a cop out, but it really is important to go into it without any expectations. And I say that like because especially if you're just coming, because like I came from YouTube onto Twitch, so my community I had already built and they followed me to Twitch, so I didn't have to start from the ground up on Twitch, which was nice. So I would say if someone's just starting out, like the community that you are meant to develop will come to you. So, and I say that because I feel like, especially if you're going into it from the point of view is I want to make a lot of friends, and I want to meet a lot of people, and I want to build a community. Like, yes, that is a good outlook to have on it. That's like the most important part of Twitch. And building a community, but you're not going to get like 100 people overnight kind of thing. Like it's going to definitely take a while, but trust the process and keep doing what you're doing and talk as if people are there. I don't care if there is nobody there. Keep talking as if you are, because that one, that 10-minute increment of time where you're just kind of not talking because no one's in chat, people could have popped in and thought, oh, they're not really talking or engaging with anything, so I think I'm not going to stay. So I think constantly talk as if, and I think starting out recording Let's Plays helped me a lot. So even if you want to record videos to practice your commentary and practice your constant talking, you don't need to upload your videos if you don't want to, but just to even get comfortable talking in front of a microphone is a process. So I think definitely doing that helps. It helps you practice. It's like, how Sims will practice their charisma in the mirror. It's kind of the same vibe. It's kind of
pretty much
kind of the same thing. You record yourself and then you can review how you sounded. And I don't know, I just think that could be really helpful if you're not comfortable talking in long increments, because that's a big part of streaming. And talk like 100 people are always there is my biggest thing. And then also not going into it expecting to get it quickly, and also expecting going into it for monetary purposes, because that is just gonna trap you instantly. Like, you're gonna get in the habit of checking your analytics. I think everybody does. And I've been trying to make a conscious effort not to, and just not check that stuff. And it's hard. It's hard, especially when it becomes such a normal thing, wanting to know. Like, I'm very curious and I want to know how many people were there. But I think if you obsess too much over like, oh, I made more this month than I did last month, or I just really want to make money, and like, especially with Twitch, I think YouTube too, their partner program. I was partnered a long time. I don't know what it's like now, but I know it's harder to get partnered on YouTube. And with Twitch, you need at least like, I think you need to make at least like $100 a month to even get paid. Yeah. So, and that's going to take a long time. So don't harp so much on affiliate, because it's still like, even after you make affiliate, it's going to take a while to get them. So don't go into it with the mindset of money. And, if it happens, great, but don't let that be your sole motivation. Let your sole motivation be fostering a community and interacting and connecting with people.
100%.
And having fun. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, that was a lot, but yeah.
That's a really good one. Like, honestly, like YouTube and Twitch are the same thresholds, like $100. YouTube is weird. Like, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in order to be like monetized. And it's so hard. And AdSense on YouTube is trash, first of all.
But you would think YouTube would have like a Twitch thing where for smaller creators, like, do you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's a lot. Or even like a small channel to reach. Like, I feel like they should have a smaller, how with like Twitch affiliates versus partners.
Yeah.
Like, Twitch partners, there's like a lot more goals to reach. But with Twitch affiliates, it's like an average of 3 viewers and 50 followers. And it's
And boom.
a little easier to obtain, right? And so I think they should do that with YouTube. I think YouTube would be really wise and probably make more money if they had a smaller partner program as well.
Like they could do like limited ads, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like they could do something with it, or like give the big YouTube partners emotes if they don't already have. I don't know if they have emotes and all that kind of stuff. But,
they do.
But they have plenty of things they could do for like a smaller partner program.
Yeah. 100%.
I think they should anyway.
I think they should too. Like YouTube, step up, please.
Yes.
Chop, chop.
Take notes.
So what's been your favorite game you've been playing so far?
Like of all time?
Well, just like this year, I guess.
Okay. Well, I did finish Detroit Become Human this year, which we talked about, which I definitely loved so much. I also played Little Hope, which is a horror game, because we do Halloween on streams. So like every end of April of the year, we'll do Halloween. We'll have scare alerts and stuff and play a scary game. So I played Little Hope, and I literally screamed, and it was so much fun though. But that was a pretty good game, I think. And yeah, there's a lot of others I want to play, like Life is Strange and stuff that I want to get into. And then of course we know The Sims 2 is
always the best.
My favorite. Yeah. Always.
Have you played a game called YouTuber's Life?
I have not. I have not. I saw you streaming it. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was. It's it's a lot harder than I thought.
What is it? You just have to like be a YouTuber? It's like a YouTuber simulator or something?
Literally, you are at your parents' house. You start with like your mom's house. You have terrible upload speed. You have a crappy computer, and you're in school and trying to make videos at the same time. Your mom nags at you if you don't study enough. You lose your computer if you get a failed grade. It's like crazy.
That sounds really fun.
Oh, it's literally so much fun, because if you love the whole like YouTube mindset and like making videos, or just having like an idea of like what it's, I guess, quote unquote, like being a YouTuber, but in a simulation game.
I think I would like that, because even in The Sims 4, I like the whole like streamer, YouTube influencer thing with Get Famous. I kind of like that whole thing. So I think I might like this.
Yeah, it's on Steam. It's $25. It's kind of crazy. They're coming out with a second one though. I'm not sure when, but it said this year, but I'm not really sure the exact
They should have
date.
like Twitch streamer life.
There's actually a video game called Streamer Life.
Oh, there is? Oh, wow. Okay.
But it's so awful, though. I have it, and I didn't like it at all.
Oh, no.
It's very weird looking, too, but I don't know. YouTuber's Life is a lot better. It's like more, I think it looks more kid-friendly, and I like that. Oh, I was also going to say, like, this was almost 2 hours long, but I was going to say, like, that it's weird because with YouTube way back then, it's like you had to be family friendly the entire time. You couldn't cuss, you couldn't do any of that stuff. And it was like, oh gosh, we're in a box already.
Especially
again.
now with all those things you had to sign recently with like being a YouTuber, like you have to confirm if your content is kid friendly or not. And like,
or you don't get any ads.
You don't get ads. So it's like, you kind of have to censor yourself a lot.
Yeah, so like my videos aren't even safe for kids anyway. I mean, it is, but it's not, because it's Sims and woohoo and all that jibber jabber stuff, especially in The Sims 2. If you play The Sims 1, that's definitely not family friendly whatsoever. Oh my gosh.
And like the older Sims games were a little more risque, so definitely.
The cutscenes.
I love the cutscenes so much though. They're so good.
It's so wonderful. But the last question is, what you know now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
It's a hard one. Probably try not to be a people pleaser, because it's impossible. And I mean that because you might make like 100 people happy, but there will still be a bunch of people who won't like you no matter what you do. Like you could be the humanitarian of the year and they would still find a reason not to like you. So it's like, don't worry so much about being a people pleaser, because I don't know if you've heard of the Enneagram test, where like, I'm a 2. So I'm the helper. So I constantly want to help people and fix people's lives and make people like me. And so it's very hard for me to break from that. And I think if I like went into any kind of content creation, or like even when I was really young in school and stuff and cared so much about what people think, I think if I hadn't cared so much, then I would have been a lot better off and just a happier person in myself. Like, I think in the last 7 years since I started YouTube, I've definitely changed a lot as a person, and in like good ways and stuff. And I've been really trying to work on not being a people pleaser, because there will always be someone who doesn't like you. And that's a hard pill to swallow for a people pleaser and someone who wants to be liked and seen as good. And I think that's important to know, is that there will be someone who doesn't like you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And kind of teaching myself how, like, I would have gone back and told myself that, like, it's okay that not everyone likes you. I promise. And more people will like you than not. Like, and so like the right people, like focus on the people in your corner who are supportive and loving, and don't try so hard to change the opinion of the ones who aren't. Like, don't care so much about that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. That's probably what I would try to focus on, because I care. I still do, but definitely back then I cared a lot about what, like, total strangers, people I didn't even know, like, why about their opinions on me. Like, so yeah, definitely that's probably what it would be.
Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast. I cannot believe, it's been so long. It feels so great to be able to talk about this stuff, because not a lot of people talk about this stuff at all, especially like what YouTube was back then and what is now. But yeah, so
thank you so much for having me. I loved this. It was so fun.
Yeah. So
2 hours flew by.
It's crazy. I still have to record the intro and outro for this episode, and it's going to be like 2 hours, some minute long. It's going to be fun. But anyway, where can the listeners find you?
So you can find me on YouTube at Starwinxie. I don't upload that much anymore, but there's still 7 years worth of videos if you ever feel like watching, and I might upload again. I'm sure probably at some point. But mainly finding me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Starwinxie. If you want to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Starwinxie, and basically Starwinxie on everything. So yeah, Instagram, all that kind of stuff.
Very good. I'm so happy. Well, thank you again. I'll let you go. Appreciate it so much. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So I hope we all enjoyed today's episode with Starwinxie. I definitely sure did, because as a person who is a diehard Sims 2 fan, and the fact that she's a diehard Sims 2 fan, it brings me so much good serotonin to know that I can just scream my passion for the town of Pleasant View and how much drama my game has created because of Don Lothario, and how I've kind of navigated that storyline throughout many different Sims, like the Calientes, the Goth family, the Broke family, the Dreamer family, all the above, and make Pleasant View more chaotic than it is, especially kind of talking about her Uberhood and her past life as Starlight Sims on YouTube, but now Starwinxie, what she went through with her YouTube series with the Sims 3 Generations and Seasons, and how she kind of transitioned over from YouTube to Twitch. But make sure you check out all of her links in the show notes below so you can give her a follow, a shout out, and all those cool things, because if you love The Sims, like The Sims 2 or 3 or story-driven games, I know for a fact you are going to love her vibe, her personality, her stream community. It's just a breath of fresh air to find someone you can listen to or watch and interact with in real time, and be a part of a newfound family that you want to be a part of for a very long time. And I definitely am a part of her community, and it brings me so much joy to have her on this podcast. And yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. But either way, make sure you go ahead and follow and subscribe to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcast. And I will hear from you all next week. Bye-bye.